All right, let's turn to this invasive creature on your screen. That thing is the hammerhead worm. It's native to Asia, but it's been popping up in the US, including Illinois. And the problem is it eats snails, slugs, and earthworms, all of which are vital to our farms and gardens. But getting rid of them isn't easy. They're coated in the same paralytic neurotoxin found in pufferfish, which will make you and your pets sick if you come in contact with it. And they are difficult to kill and can reproduce without a mate. So joining us now to talk about these underground pests is Illinois Extension horticulture educator Jamie Viebach. Jamie, thank you so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
Well, why don't we start with the issue here? Just how big of an impact can these worms have on our ecosystems?
Really, it's not that big. Their favorite food is earthworms, like you had mentioned. And in a almost positive note, the invasive jumping worms that you might have heard about recently are also one of their favorite foods. But aside from that, they're just kind of creepy looking and are not native. So they do go after some of our native worm species and other things you might find in your garden.
Okay, so where are they found? Are they in like the northern Illinois area?
They're really all over. They're technically not a worm, they're a planarian, which is a similar family. They're a lot of times, they're a lot more frequently found in the southern part of the United States, but there is one species that is here in Illinois, found in northern Illinois. As a matter of fact, I was just on iNaturalist today looking at the number of occurrences, and this year there have been 73 identified here in Illinois. I checked the Quad Cities area, didn't see any reports there, but north of you in Galena and nearby Dixon, there have been reports there as well. So if people find them, definitely report it on iNaturalist so we know where they've been found.
Okay, so how can people identify them to be able to report? What are some ways that you can kind of tell what worm it is?
Yeah, so they're often found in those kind of damp areas like in mulch and in leaves, under rocks and logs. And they look a lot like a worm, but they have that sort of shovel-shaped head. They also have either anywhere from 1 to 5 stripes down their back, which you're not going to see on a northern European nightcrawler or any of those kinds of earthworms. So if you see a stripe down the back and that sort of shovel-shaped head, you know you've got one of these guys.
Oh, Jamie, I know you can't see it from your screen. We've got video playing and they just look nasty. Can you talk a little bit about why they're so hard to kill and what you should do if you actually do find one?
Yeah, so a lot of people think that with something like a nightcrawler or an earthworm, if you cut it in half, you have 2 worms. That's really not the case, except in planarians, it is. So if you get one and you're, I'm going to kill it, and you chop it in half with a shovel, now you have 2 planarians. As a matter of fact, one of their reproductive strategies is to just break off part of their tail, which in a day or so will form a new head, and that's how they have offspring. So the way to dispose of them, if you happen to find them in your yard, is put them in a container or a zip top bag with alcohol or vinegar and or salt, and throw them in the freezer for good measure.
Oh yeah, everything on top of it. And you know, we do have time really quickly for one more question, and I've been dying to ask you this. When we talked on the phone earlier, you mentioned to me that technically all worms are invasive. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, it's actually not all of them. I did go back and look it up. So there are 20 species of worms that are native here in Illinois, but 22 introduced species. So a lot of the ones that we encounter most commonly, like night crawlers, those have been introduced a lot of times through the nursery trade. People coming over from other countries pot up plants and they happen to have worms in them or the eggs or something like that, and they get brought over here that way. And that's probably the case with these. They've been documented in the United States since like the early 1900s, but it wasn't until 1997 that these hammerhead worms that were first identified here in Illinois in Urbana.
Wow. Well, Jamie, I could just talk to you about worms all day. We'll have to have you back on the show another time. Thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And if you guys at home just can't get enough of this, you can find our online article on our website under the As Seen on TV tab.